Family is what makes us what we are. We get our first teacher and our first friend in our family. If you have a family, you know that you have someone to fall back on. A happy family is the key to a happy life. The Robles were one happy family. Estella Robles, her husband, and her two kids made the best family. It got even better when they adopted Lola, a golden Labrador. In no time, she became everyone's favorite. However, their perfect life suffered a blow when Lola went missing one day. She had disappeared without a trace, leaving so many questions behind. Did someone take her with them, or did she just run away? And most importantly, where was she? The family was no more a happy family, but the twist was still to come. After a year, Estella received a phone call from a stranger that changed everything. Nobody likes to say goodbye to their close ones. What's worse is not getting a chance to say goodbye to them. That's what happened to the Robles family. They were deeply in love with their furry and chubby dog. It was an integral part of their family. However, one day it went missing without a trace. The family was devastated when they learned about it. Lola is a golden Labrador by breed. She is a playful and friendly dog. It's because of her adorable nature. The dog managed to win everyone's heart who came across her. Estella and her kids considered her a big part of their family. She was the best friend of both the kids, but she soon went missing. This heartbreaking incident took place in 2016. Family lives in Texas. They love dogs, and that's why they'd adopted a golden Labrador a few years ago and named her Lola. It was a nice addition for the family. The kids had grown very fond of her over time. It won't be wrong to say that she completed the family. However, all their happiness turned into sorrow when the dog disappeared into thin air. It was the summer of 2016. They looked for her everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. Months passed by, but her location still remained unknown. Was she gone for good? Now the family had begun to lose all hope. Estella Robles is a dog person. She had adopted Lola from a local animal shelter. She believes that dogs bring positivity to the house. They're humans' best friend and also help in doing away with stress. She can't think of any drawbacks. Lola was exactly what she wanted. Estella Robles is a mother of Jesselyn and Joshua Robles. Well, she's also a mother to Lola. She's in her mid-30s. The woman is known for her warm nature in her neighborhood. Estella had her heart set upon Lola the moment she saw her. This is how Lola entered the Robles' life. Living with the suspicion and fear for Lola was not easy for the family. Estella didn't know where she was and in what condition. They didn't adopt another dog as they feared another one would end up in the same way. Estella assumed that as Lola was very playful and friendly by nature, she must have followed someone and got lost, or maybe some stranger took her away. They suspected if they were ever going to figure out how and where she had gone, the kids would wait for her every day. They had installed a microchip inside her in case she ever went missing, but unfortunately that was of no help when she actually got lost. They counted on that when she went missing, but unfortunately heard nothing. What concerned them more was the fact that in the past Lola would always find her way back home in case she'd go out on the street. They were expecting the same this time, but unfortunately she didn't return. Estella asked her neighbors if they'd seen Lola anywhere. Some of the neighbors did say that they'd seen her, but every time it was a different dog. Golden Labrador is quite a popular dog, and that's what made it difficult to trace her back. If we go by the records based on a survey conducted in 2012, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals found that only a very few dogs that were lost managed to reunite with their owners. Over 80% of them had to spend their lives in shelters after being rescued. The family had given up all hope now. A year had passed by, and there was no news of Lola. They moved on and made peace with the fact that they were never going to find Lola. But as they say, life is all about unexpected stuff. Just when the family thought that they lost her, something miraculous happened. Estella was busy with her chores when she got a call from an unknown number. She learned it was from Dallas Animal Services. They had a piece of news for her. The woman was floored when she heard what the caller had to say. She left off what she was doing and rushed to the shelter. The center had found Lola. She was healthy and alive. This much information was enough for Estella to come running to the shelter. She didn't tell her kids as she wanted to make sure on her own first. She spotted her playing around. She was there waiting for her. So how did they find Lola after so many months? Well, it was the chip that actually brought Lola back to the Robles. Though it took them a year to reach her, they finally did it. Estella still having a hard time believing that Lola had been found. Lola looked even better. She appeared well fed and healthy. Estella assumed that the family Lola was living with took really good care of her. Estella was in tears on seeing her. Want to know what happened when Lola saw her? She came running back to her. She jumped on her body and hugged her tightly. You could tell Lola was very happy about seeing her. She jumped on her as if she was waiting long for her to come back. It was a heart-melting moment. Estella couldn't wait to tell her kids about it. However, Estella had a fantastic idea in her mind. She decided to give a surprise to her children who had been waiting for Lola for a long time. She drove back to her house with Lola in the car. She wasn't going to break the news in a conventional way. She took a family friend on board to record the reaction of her kids. It was going to be an amazing moment. She pulled over the car right in front of the house door and told her kids to come out. Well, her daughter and son came running outside. The clip began from the kitchen. The woman who's recording the video asked the kids in the kitchen to go out and greet Mom, who's just arrived in the house. Well, the kids go outside and get a sense that something's odd. They saw their mom standing next to the SUV. She has this big enigmatic smile on her face that makes the kids grow even more suspicious. The kids make their way towards her, wondering what their mom's up to, and then Jessalyn sees some fur. Jessalyn, all excited, sprints towards the SUV and said, "What the heck, did you get a dog?" Clearly, this is what they'd thought. Getting another dog in place of Lola was not going to make up for their beloved lost pooch. However, their confusion fades when Lola jumps out of the car. The kids looked at the dog all stunned. Jessalyn, who is holding a ball in her hands, tightens her grip on seeing the pooch. Estella, on seeing her, all stunned, explains to her that the dog is none other than their own Lola. She says jovially, "It's Lola." Well, the revelation is followed by cries and laughing. Thereafter, the family goes for a tight group hug with Lola in the center. Estella explained, "We have Lola back. Do you believe it?" Joshua and Jessalyn couldn't help but cry and demand more hugs, whereas Lola rushed inside the house to see if anything had changed. The dog checked from part to the inside of the house. Clearly, Lola too missed the place big time. "Well, this is all nothing short of a dream for them," Estella said. "Can you believe we have Lola?" Kids who are on the 9th floor keep kissing their mom and dad. The kids also asked Estella how she found Lola. They had all lost hope. Estella explains with a smile that the sweet girl was found on a street by a passerby who informed a shelter. Thereafter, the shelter took her in, and it was quite easy to track her home thanks to the microchip. Because she has a chip, they were able to call us and say, "We found your dog," says Estella. After that, Estella goes on to tell her children, everybody rubs her belly. She missed everybody. The dog's about to reunite with her family after she was missing for over a year. No need to say the clip drove people crazy. It warmed many hearts and made many people cry. As they say, the reunion of a pet and its owner is always an emotional one. This one actually takes the cake. The video made many people cry and their hearts smile. One of the users who watched the video dropped a comment, "Okay, I'm crying, but tears of joy." The user also pointed towards the importance of chipping your pets. It's so important to get your pets chipped. That way, dogs like Lola can be found and returned to their proper homes, concluded the user. So, after a year, the Robles were finally together. Those people who saw the video fell in love with Lola and showed their love for her by sharing and commenting on the video. One of them said, "A huge advocate for chipping and registration. It's important to microchip your dogs in order to prevent them from going astray." Then there are some who would not wrap their mind around the fact that if a dog was chipped already, why'd it take a whole year to find her? One user wrote, "If Lola had a chip and that's how they managed to find the owners, why was she gone for over a year?" Dallas Animal Services said that perhaps the dog was living with another family who could never figure out that the pooch had a chip inside her, thanks to her and her chubby body. Moreover, the family she was living with was very clearly fond of her. Well, this is still unknown whether the pooch was taken forcefully or someone just adopted her from the street. Whatever the case was, Lola was back in her house with her real family. The Robles are very thankful to the pooch's foster family for taking care of her. The family considers themselves lucky for being able to reunite with their dog. Unfortunately, it does not happen to every family who gets their dog missing. The Robles now take extra care when Lola goes out of the house. They don't want her to disappear again.